We start with a super chat from Cy Gray, $2. Thank you very much, my friend. It's a great way to get on the show, by the way, is to super chat. Should the Lions stay at number 3 and draft Okudah/Simmons? If I ran the Lions, and I assume/know the order's going to go Joe Burrow at number 1 overall, and then Chase Young at number 2 overall. What I would do is then I would move down from 3 to 5. And I would take whatever the best offer is that Miami gives me. In theory, Miami moves up for Tua. That's the best path for Detroit. Because if I go from 3 to 5 and they take Tua, I am still guaranteed one of Okudah or one of Simmons. And you might have both of them there. I would go Okudah because of the fit and the need. But I think that would be the best path for Detroit's side. Next up from John Schumann. After taking an OT at 10, and I'll throw out Tristan Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, or Jedrick Wills there, could the Browns trade back into the late first for a top linebacker or safety? It's a fun idea. If any of these players kind of slide, I think that they could. A Grant Delpit, a Xavier McKinney, a Kenneth Murray, or a Patrick Queen, I think they could. I also wonder if Cleveland could do this. What if Cleveland could stand pat in round 2, still get a good safety, be it Ashton Davis or maybe Grant Delpit slides down to? I think that's a real possibility. Then in round 3, you can get a linebacker, Malik Harrison out of Ohio State or an Akeem Davis-Gaither out of App State. So I wouldn't mind a trade up, but Cleveland might be able to stand pat and still land a guy that they want. From Why Not, if the Chiefs trade Chris Jones, will they get a top 10 pick because Buckner was traded for number 13 overall? I mean, I think you would ask for equivalent value to a top 10 pick. What might end up happening is go to the top 10, right? Bengals aren't trading their first-round pick. Redskins, Lions, Giants, Dolphins won't. Chargers probably won't. Carolina could, but they're kind of rebuilding. Maybe Arizona, maybe Jacksonville. But maybe those teams don't go defensive line early. And in that scenario, maybe you don't get a pure top 10 pick, but maybe you get a mid-first round pick and more. So if the Chiefs were to trade Jones, I would ask for that absolutely. And I frankly wouldn't trade him, but I would demand that. I might not get a pure top 10 pick, but I might get a first-round pick and extra pick so that the value ends up being the same. Avante Ked or Keed, if I mispronounced it altogether, I'm sorry. Should the Saints still target Justin Jefferson or go after Kenneth Murray? That's a good question. The Saints, as I'm sure you all know, have added Emmanuel Sanders. So receiver isn't quite the same screaming need it was. Now, you could still use a Justin Jefferson, and Sanders can play outside as well. But I would wonder if maybe linebacker does make more sense for New Orleans. I think corner could also make some sense. So if Murray and Jefferson are both there at number 24, I believe that's what they're picking. Yeah, 24 overall. I think I would actually go with Kenneth Murray instead. Now, if you guys are like me and y'all voted for draft, so I assume that you are, hit subscribe. Join us for our live NFL draft coverage. Join us for all of the NFL draft videos we got planned for you guys. Heck, we put up a mock draft like 2 days ago. Still very accurate, by the way, because there hasn't been too much change. So if you want mock drafts, if you want NFL draft coverage, if you just like the NFL draft, period, hit that big red button and subscribe today, because here at Chat Sports, not only is it draft season right now, draft season never actually goes away. Mikey and Shane Sports, who do you think is the most underrated player and why? Ooh, it's a tough question. There's a lot of depth at receiver. So I think that receiver is probably where you're going to look and go, wow, this guy's really good, but he's going to end up sliding further than he maybe should. So I like some of the slot guys this year. I think Van Jefferson could be a great sleeper. I actually like Lynn Bowden a lot, and he might slide way more than you think on draft night. So there are a lot of players that I think are maybe a little bit underrated. I like Antoine Winfield a lot. That's one of my pet cats. I wouldn't mind taking him in round 1. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. King Higgins, Who is the worst position team in this year's NFL draft? Very simple. It is the LA Rams. They are super light on draft picks, guys. The Rams, both this year and next, have traded away a lot of them. And the Rams still got some pretty big needs to fill. The Bears at least have 2 first-round picks. The Colts have 2 first-round picks. The Bills are fine because they filled their other needs. So for me, the Rams in particular really jump out as a team that because of their moves, and it worked out because, look, they got Jalen Ramsey, they'll be okay. But I think that the Rams are really hurting just purely for draft capital. That'd be my pick. Swampasaurus 318. Will the Patriots trade up to get, also I misspoke. The Bears have 2 second-round picks. That was my bad. Second-round picks. I totally misspoke there. Same with the Colts. Will the Patriots trade up to get a second-round pick? Or trade up for a quarterback, because I'm all over the place right now. Sorry, guys. I don't think that they will. It's certainly plausible. The issue for New England is that they don't have a second-round pick. So they traded that away from Mohamed Sanu. And that did not work out very well at all. So the Patriots, they do have 3 third-rounders, but getting from 23 up into the top-end quarterback range is really tough. In fact, I would guess it is more likely the Patriots actually trade down than they do trade up. Not impossible that they move up, but I think a trade down might make the most sense. From the Phenom, says the Niners are drafting Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, or Ruggs at 13. I think receiver makes a lot of sense for him. If for some reason most of those guys are gone, I would also throw out a Derek Brown. Slot him in as that nose guard type on the defensive line. Now you upgrade from Sheldon Day. Your D-line's great once again. But I do think receiver is a very likely outcome for the Niners at number 13 overall. So who is the best receiver in this year's draft? I think there's a pretty clear-cut big 3. Henry Ruggs, in no particular order. Henry Ruggs, type A. CeeDee Lamb, type B. Jerry Jeudy, type C. I love all of those guys. They're all round 1 players for me. And in other draft classes, they all could have been number 1. They just happen to be in a fantastic draft class this year. I go CeeDee Lamb, Jeudy, and then Ruggs. But you can make arguments for each of those guys. It's a very difficult discussion. They have different strengths, different weaknesses. Almost comes down to which type of receiver do you want. So cast your votes for me. A for Ruggs, B for Lamb, or C for Jeudy. Misty, who is the Seahawks' number 1 need for the draft? As I look through Seattle's needs, I think edge stands out to me. Because do you really trust L.J. Collier and Rasheem Green and Bruce Irvin? I don't. Beyond that, and Seattle historically does not go this path, corner's a huge need. Because you got Shaquille Griffin and maybe Ugo Amadi? I don't trust your depth. I don't like your starters beyond Shaquille Griffin. So corner is a massive need for Seattle. They just haven't always pursued that path early in the NFL draft. I think guard could be an option. Maybe some defensive tackle. Heck, receiver. Still, I think you're looking for one more guy to pair with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. John S., a very clear Bucs fan. Who do you think Tampa will draft at number 14? It does depend who is there. If the Bucs still haven't added a third receiver, I can't rule out one of the big 3 receivers. I think the most likely outcome is offensive line. Now, maybe Jedrick Wills and Mekhi Becton and Tristan Wirfs are all gone, but Andrew Thomas could be available. I think that could be a fit. I think it'd be a really good fit for Tampa. And then I think defensive line still. Javon Kinlaw or Derek Brown would fill a need for Tampa. So I'm looking trenches as we sit right now for Tampa. Quality Streamer wants to know about the most overrated player in the NFL draft. I don't like answering this because it's always tough for me. As I go through my board and players that I don't love as much as other people out there, I think it's the edge class. I do like Kayvon Chasen and Chase Young, but after that, Yeturgos Matos, Aquara, even Zach Bond, I don't love those guys in round 1. I don't think that value is fantastic. I think the NFL might be lower on someone like Laviska Shenault because of the injuries. Now, I like him, but the medical is a big-time red flag there, and I'll throw out the name Trayvon Diggs. I like him, I do, but he's more of a top 40, top 30 player than a top 20 guy for me. I got some speed concerns. That kind of matters in the NFL. I got a deal as well for you guys. NFL jerseys are on sale for under $60. It is chatsports.com/jersey deal. That is chatsports.com/jersey deal. These are normally $80. That was already a price drop. Now they're on sale for an additional 25% off. It is a fantastic deal. So if you guys were on the fence earlier about getting a new jersey, now is the time. All the teams, all kinds of different colors out there. It's chatsports.com/jersey deal. That link's in the comments, and it is in the description. Brokov, if Fulton begins to slide, should Dallas trade down in round 1 to get an extra second and a late first? I don't know if frankly, I don't think Fulton has much impact here. I genuinely like trading down. Now, to get an extra second, you kind of got to move to the back end of round 1. I don't know if that's the path they'll go, but you could easily get an extra third by moving down. I like that idea. I think for the Cowboys, it depends on who's on the board. If one of those top receivers is there, if Henderson is there, one of the defensive linemen, or Caleb Von Chasen is there, I don't trade down. I might stand pat. However, those guys might all be off the board. So for the Cowboys, I do like the idea of trading down. It's just a matter of figuring out who's on the board, and we're not going to know that for quite a while. All right, Timothy Crooms wants to know how Lamb, Jeudy, and Ruggs differ in skill, their strengths. So I'll start with Lamb here to begin. CeeDee Lamb, if you want like a player comp to help you kind of crystallize this, is a little bit more like DeAndre Hopkins. He's not the biggest guy, but he's great after the catch. He's got fantastic hands, and he can win in contested catch situations. That combo, great after the catch, great going up and getting the football and having good hands, that's tough to find. But he is not the same caliber of athlete that Jeudy is. Jeudy is not a bad athlete. He's not as good as Ruggs. He is a separation artist. He gets open like an Odell Beckham or an Adam Thielen. Played slot and the outside for Alabama. He can also make guys miss. His best strength is route running. If you want a guy to get open for your quarterback, Jerry Jeudy is your guy. Henry Ruggs, meanwhile, well, he's not just speed, but speed's the main selling point for Henry Ruggs. He has fantastic speed, an absolute burner. Oh, by the way, also really good hands as well. He's very strong in that area. So it's the speed and route running combo for Ruggs that appeals to people. He's a home run threat. Jerry Jeudy's going to get open a lot, and CeeDee Lamb is going to be great in contested catches and after the catch. Depending on which is your cup of tea, you're going to like one receiver more. There is no wrong answer, though, as to which one is the best fit. You Green, I also want to shout out the Super Chat Nothing But Cash Reloaded that just came in as well. No question, but thank you very much, my friend. What team do you think will trade up or back that would be a shocker? It's a good one. I don't know if it's a shocker, but Vegas makes sense to me as a potential trade up or down candidate. They could end up going a variety of areas. I think that could make sense. I think the Niners could trade down as well. If you want an aggressive trade-up team, how about the Ravens? Sitting at 28, have their normal allotment of picks. They haven't heard much about a trade-up for them. I think that could be a particularly fun fit as well. Maybe Philadelphia tries to get super aggressive. And in terms of another trade-down candidate, Arizona at 8 could move down a couple spots, try and recoup the pick they lost for DeAndre Hopkins. Showing that out there as a potential fit. But it's always tricky to guess surprises because if we saw it coming, it wouldn't really be a surprise.